Hello everyone, welcome to Jenkins tutorial. So today we'll see what Jenkins says, what is CI/CD, etc. in the tutorial. So going to the first part, like what is Jenkins? So Jenkins is basically an open source tool through which you can automate all the steps which can be done manually or via scripts, like when you commit or when a developer commits a code to the source code repository, which may be Bitbucket, GitLab or GitHub, etc., etc., like whatever is your version control system. So once the developer commits the code, the rest part is taken care by the CI/CD stuff using a tool called Jenkins, or it may be various other tools, as there are quite a couple of tools available in the market nowadays. But Jenkins exists from past 12 to 15 years. And to me, as of now, like I've used several tools, but to me, Jenkins is the best tool. Like I have worked a lot with it, and it has a lot of capabilities, and everything is available as free in the open source. And also, you have a plugins support and a great community behind Jenkins for all the support and all the plugins part. Now, Jenkins helps to automate the parts of the software related to the build, test, deployment, delivery, etc., etc. Now, again, during when you use Jenkins or when you are in the industry, so there is a term called CI/CD, which is very very common into DevOps. So what does that actually mean is CI is the continuous integration part. So what happens in the continuous integration part is you developer frequently commits his code or merges the code into the central repository, which may be the Bitbucket, GitHub, etc. Then after that, it with the continuous CI, what happens is, right, it will download the code, or in simple terms, or in the industrial terms, or in the terminology wise, you can say that it will clone the code from the version control system, and then it will compile it, package it, do the required tests, and then it will store to some repository, so which is actually called continuous delivery. Else, if you are deploying it to some server, so usually most of the companies, they do it is like direct deployment to the dev server. So whenever a person or a developer or some team commits the code, it will first clone the code, then it will compile it, then it will create the build package, do the testing part, unit testing part, and then it will post to some repository. So if you have a central repository, basically it is a place where you store your artifacts, like a jar file, zip file, etc., whatever is the output of your package. So once that is done, and if you deploy it to the dev server, automatically with every check-in, that is pushing your code to the central repository, and once you push it, if it is directly deployed to the server or environment like dev, then we say it continuous integration. Now, continuous deployment or delivery, again, in CD can mean anything. So delivery is where you store the package or the your artifact to your central repository, which may be Docker Hub in case of images, if you are using Docker, or if you are using package for building like zip or jar file, and you are storing it some central repository like Nexus. So in that case, it is known as delivery. So deployment comes whenever you deployment term means whenever you deploy the package to some server, the Tomcat application, or maybe some other server that is dev environment, then it is known as deployment. But again, so these are the various terms, CI/CD. Hope you are clear with this. So let's go to the next part. So now here we can see the CI/CD steps, like which a usual project goes through. So first is like once you or the team has committed the code to the repository, that is the version control system. From there, the CI will detect the change, and it will create the compile and build it the package here. So once the package is built, it will do the integration testing, testing, etc. Once that is done, it will release the package So till here it will be from the code part till the release part. This till the release part it will be continuous delivery. So if you want to know continuous integration, it will be till code to the testing part once your testing part is done. Now again, if you are releasing it to some environment, that is you are deploying the code to some environment, in that case it will be known as continuous delivery. So again, if the full DevOps is quite difficult to understand because it has a quite lot of things into it nowadays. Like DevOps includes everything from development to testing, coding, then DBA. So it depends on the company's requirement for the DevOps position because they are expecting a lot nowadays from the DevOps team or the DevOps person. So again, depending on the requirement, it depends on company to company, like what all things they include in the DevOps part. So basically, here this slide is to explain you like till what part, what does it mean. So basically, again, the DevOps culture is based on the agile development. So whenever a developer commits a code, we can see or get the feedback like what was the commit about. Did it pass the unit testing? Did it compile package successfully? Did it successfully got released and deployed to the environment? So it will give a quick feedback to the application team or the developer about the source he has committed or pushed to the repository. So also there are various other tools available in the market. If you see, like there are from the like past few years, even the tools is getting more and more. So some of them are GitLab, TeamCity, Circle CI, Travis, Jenkins, CodeShape. Earlier used to be Cruise Control. Then nowadays cloud servers also providing their own CI/CD tool, that is Azure Pipeline in case of Azure Cloud and AWS Code Pipeline in case of AWS Cloud. So these are the various tools, but they basically perform all the same steps here. There may be one or few steps missing, which may not be required according to the project or application. But basically, these are the steps which they need to follow the CI/CD steps with the help of tool, which can automate their whole CI/CD steps. So the basic purpose of any CI/CD tool is to automate the whole flow or stages we can see, or the steps basically. The rectangular gray rectangular blue boxes, if it completes all the steps with the help of the tool, we just call that as a CI/CD server. So in our case, we'll be studying Jenkins. So Jenkins is very vast and available from past 15 years, and I have majorly worked on Jenkins. In most of the companies, it is open source, and it has a lot of community support, and there's a lot of available plugins for almost all the things.